I just want a couple of hopefully very quick questions. So, and you sort of touched on it earlier, and you heard me ask a previous speaker about the low prosecution rates in some of our gun crimes, and I hope that you're the expert, being a previous prosecutor that she may have been referring to. So I'd like to direct this to you. And I actually have a March 2022 OLR report that shows since 2013 to 2021, 76 arrests were made in the state of Connecticut for individuals transferring firearms to people who are ineligible, right? They're so-called straw purchases. And 73 of them were nollied or dismissed. Now, I have, as you know, experience in the criminal justice system as well, and I totally understand what you were getting at as far as how those crimes work. So my first question to you would be, why should this legislature restrict the free market of people who have been through a rigorous process to purchase firearms when we've seen in the course of 8 years, 76 arrests, 73 of them nollied or dismissed? And if the follow-up to that is and I think you're probably right, that you say that, well, those are being dismissed, but the individual is being charged of the greater offense, then that would seem to indicate to me that the people that are doing this are already criminals. This is not law-abiding citizens that do these things. So what would you, and I think, we lose track of the fact, Jeremy, that we have the most rigorous process to be able to purchase, and we can't control. I think you're right. Are people buying guns in other parts of the country and bringing them here illegally? Yes, but this wouldn't prevent that necessarily from happening because it's specific to Connecticut. An astronomical amount of gun crime is committed with stolen firearms. So that same OLR report, I'll go back to that. 2021, 80% of the charges for, 88% of charges for stealing a firearm, nollied or dismissed. 82% in 2020. 77% in 2019, 75% in 2018, 78% in 2017, nollied or dismissed. Where I have pause is if I have 2 sons, my guns are locked up for obvious reasons. I trust my boys, but I'm not gambling their lives on it, okay? That's the level of responsibility that I take. But if I'm a single guy or a single person, I don't have children in my home, and I leave my home and I lock the door, and I leave a .380 in my nightstand, and a 17-year-old juvenile breaks into my home, steals my gun, even if they're an adult, we don't prosecute it at any higher rate, but you just made me, the victim of a burglary, a criminal. The tragic story you just outlined, at no point in time did you offer any responsibility to the individual who stole the gun and pulled the trigger. You're putting a responsibility on the person who got victimized and had their property stolen from them. And my pause is, and I think you're right, but we see this in this building every day. A construction worker goes out at 5:30 in the morning when it's 9 degrees out to warm up his truck, and it gets stolen. That's his fault, not the person who stole it. We have catalytic converters stolen at a rapid rate in this state. We blame the auto recyclers. At some point in time, Jeremy, we have got to start blaming criminals for the actions that they take and stop trying to not prosecute cases and defer responsibility to people who are victims. And that's where I have hesitation on this. And